You're listening to Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony. On the virus. Sirius-XM.
Hey, who's in the film you just did now? What's the name of the film?
Red State. Oh, we just fucking finished it. It's the tits, dude. This is the hands down the best flick I ever made.
Really?
It's so fucking good. Yeah, it's this little horror movie we made. I can't wait to show. We submitted it to Sundance, and hopefully we'll hear back.
Who's in it?
It's this dude named. There's a bunch of people, but I'll focus on one. We got Michael Angarano, who's a teen actor, not a teen, he's in his 20s. Kyle Gallner, this dude Nick Braun, this chick Carrie Bechet, Melissa Leo, who was up for an Oscar a couple years ago for Frozen River, not last year, the year before. She's in this movie, The Fighter, that's coming out. She's been in tons of stuff. She was on Homicide. She's one of the most respected actresses in the business. John Goodman, who's just dynamite in the fucking flick. But the big gun in our movie is Michael Parks. He plays our baddie, Pastor Aben Cooper, because the movie's about religious fundamentalism.
Michael Parks, man. Holy shit.
He is so fucking...
Then came Bronson, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yes.
If this dude don't win an award off this movie, there's no justice in this world. He is astounding in the movie.
And
he plays this Aben Cooper character.
So cool.
Pastor from this church, and he's a dude who, if people don't know the name, he was in a lot of Robert and Quentin stuff more recently.
And
he always played
great
Sheriff
parts
Earl
in those,
McGraw
yeah.
whenever he comes out and he's hanging out with his kid, and, well, son number one, the older dude, that's Michael Parks. He fucking drops an anvil on him, and it's crazy. It's one of the 5 best performances I've ever seen in my life.
His dialogue at the beginning of Dusk Till Dawn inside that liquor store was
that's why I wrote this
fucking
movie.
fantastic.
I saw that in '95. I went to this sneak screening that Dimension was having, and Bob Weinstein was like, "Come watch this movie, come watch Rabbit and Quentin." And I went and saw it, and the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes is the scene in Benny's World of Liquors, and it's Michael Parks as the sheriff.
Yeah.
And it's for me, I was fucking like captivated. It was love at first sight. I was like, that's the way this dude's delivering dialogue. I've never heard anyone deliver dialogue like that before.
It was like, so low key, but like
you
were completely fixated on it.
I loved it. Right then and there, I was just, and then he dies in the first.
I know, and then he's just out of the movie. He's like, what the fuck?
And I was just like, I can't do this, man. I can't not work with this man. Like, that dude is fucking astounding. What would it be like to do a whole movie with him? And so 15 years later, I finally figured out what it was, because I didn't write movies that lent for you couldn't put Michael Parks in fucking Chasing Amy, you know?
No.
it'd have been weird, but this movie you could absolutely put him in, and I finally found something.
Oh, that is cool, man.
Drop him into, but can I tell you a quick story about
sure.
casting dude? So I was trying to explain to my wife. She's like, "Who's going to play that part?" And I was like, "This dude, Michael Parks." And she's like, "Who is he?" And I was trying to explain it. And I was like, "Let me just show you from Dusk Till Dawn." And I bring the DVD into my room. I got this big 103-inch television player. I sound like I'm from the 50s.
Television player. I watch my stories on it.
So I've got a big Blu-ray player attached to it as well. Pop the DVD in, and so basically you're watching a cinema-like presentation of From Dusk Till Dawn. And so we watched the first 10 minutes and shit, and I turn it up because I like my shit loud. And so after I pause it because the kid comes in the room, Harley, and the movie's a little grown up and shit. So I pause it, don't want her to see it, and we were like, "What's up?" And she's like, "The police are outside." And I said, "What?" And I look out the window, and I see a cop is talking to Raina, our housekeeper. And so I go downstairs, but before I go downstairs, I kind of go over to Jen. I'm like, "What should we do?" And she's like, "What do you mean? They probably have nothing to do with us." I said, "They're talking to Raina." And I look back at the window, and Raina points, and the cop looks up at me. And I wave at him because I don't know what else to do. And he goes, "Do you live here?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Get down here right now. Get down here." And I said, "Okay." And we had just had some Baja Fresh delivered, and I felt weird. I felt scared because, as we all know, I like to imbibe in this house from time to time.
Uh-huh.
So suddenly I was like, and I had just imbibed fairly recently. I said, what's going to make me look the most low-key and casual? And I grabbed a container of Baja Fresh chicken that I just bought and took it downstairs with me. Opened the door, and the cops do that thing where they take one step backwards, put one hand on their hip, and one hand extended forward.
Holy shit, what the fuck?
And there's two of them at the door, and I'm in the doorway, and it's my kid behind me, and she had 2 friends over, and my wife's behind me. And I just saw Raina as I was coming to the door. I was like, "Raina, what did the police want?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know, Mr. Kevin. Everything's okay." She doesn't speak much English. So I was just like, all right, open the door. Cops, hands on hips and shit. My kid goes all wide-eyed, and the cop goes, how many people are in this house? And I go, like, I didn't know I was going to have to do math that quickly. So I was just like, well, it's me, this one. I said, there's about 6. He goes, why don't you step outside? I need you to step outside right now. I was like, okay. And I'm still holding the chicken. He's like, what's that? I was like, chicken. And he goes, what's going on? Who's in this house? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, we got a call from somebody. Some neighbor or something said that there were screams for help coming from inside the house.
Oh, man.
And I go, honestly, I have no idea what you're talking about. I said, we're the only ones here. I said, my friends, my kids' friends are over. I said, me and the wife were just about to have some Baja Fresh. As you can see, I'm holding chicken right here.
As you can see.
Goes, and then one of the other policemen goes like, no, it wasn't a neighbor. Somebody walking down the hill called it in. And the guy goes, oh, because at first they were implying that the call was coming from inside the house. And I was like, wow, this is like when a stranger called.
Yeah, no shit.
But I was like, somebody walking down the hill. He's like, yeah, they said that somebody was crying for help out the windows. And my kid is like breaking down at this point, man. She just starts like getting sobby and shit because she's never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And it's just like the police are like, get out of your house, little kid. And the whole time, like, she's upset for one reason, I'm upset for another reason, because I'm like, did I leave a joint upstairs in that ashtray? So they're coming into the house to kind of look around because of this phone call they got. And I go, officer, wait, by any chance, are you guys here looking for the Gecko Brothers? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I got a 103-inch television upstairs, man, and I was just playing the opening scene from Dusk Till Dawn. That, too, is kind of a hostage situation. There's a lot of screaming. And the cop, he was older, he looks to the younger cop, he's like, is this true? And the younger cop goes, yeah, it was the best part of the movie. And he goes, all right, well, let me just take a look inside. And they walked into the house and looked around a little bit, and they were like, okay, everything seems to check out. And I was like, thanks so much, man, thank you. And you know, he was like, I'm sorry we bothered you, I'm sorry. Like, I said, dude, if that's your response to something like that, I'm more than happy to you know, be involved. You guys were great. Now I feel super safe if something ever does happen. You never have to apologize about coming in here. And so they left, and I closed the door, and my wife is looking at me with wide fucking eyes, and she's kind of breathing heavily now, and I'm like, so yeah, that's Michael Parks who's going to be in our movie.
It'd be funny, cut to later, all the cops are sitting there eating chicken with them, watching the whole film.
They stayed outside for like 5 minutes, though, man. Like, they were like, well, we kind of believe what he says. I like the fact that they came in the house, because for all they knew, there's somebody standing behind the door with my kid with a gun to their head.
Yeah. Right. And then they leave.
They were like, they didn't buy my whole, like, they started like getting in my kid's face, not in her face, like yelling at her, but they were just like, what's your name, honey? Who lives here? And I was like, that's my daughter. I was like, I'm not asking her. I'm asking you, sir. I'm asking her. Because they want to make sure that I'm not, like, I answer the door in a robe. I'm carrying a fucking fistful of chicken.
You're not the bad guy.
Yeah, I could be the dude that was in there being, hey, everybody, this is my house now. Like,
by the way, how was the Baja Fresh chicken? Kev, how was that Baja Fresh chicken?
That Baja Fresh chicken is amazing, Kevin. It's worth the facing down the cops for.
Yes, with their hands on their hips and their front hand out.
The Virus. Sirius-XM. This is the Opie and Anthony Show.